What up, YouTube? Alex coming back at you with another StarCraft 2 cast. On the top right-hand side of the map, we have our blue Terran player Duran. And on the bottom left-hand side of the map, we have our red Zerg player Tzinch. This is going to be a diamond versus diamond level game, so it should be an interesting one. And we already see what is going to be something a little bit weird. We have an 11 pool coming out from our red Zerg player. This tells us immediately that something cheesy is going on, or he's just doing a really weird build. But my money's on some cheese. This is a very early spawning pool, and Tzinch, man, I love the name, but if I am butchering that, I am so sorry because I do not feel like I am saying it correctly. Duran will be sending a scout over. He will be able to spot this cheese in time, and he's already walling off the ramp to his main base, which is a standard in TvZ matchups. So he may be able to survive this one base all in. We see what is going to be an extractor, a double extractor follow-up from the Zerg player right now, and going for the Roach Warren instead. He may actually be going for a one base Ravager all in based on the amount of gas he's going to be mining. I feel like this might be Ravagers. This SCVs will be able to spot this if he's able to run behind the mineral line, and he does actually spot this SCV running home to tell his friends. He's like, hey, look guys, I did my job. I already saw what I needed to see. No base in the natural location and double gas with a Roach Warren. So we have to see how Duran is going to be reacting to this. Throwing down a bunker, does have a second barracks on the way along with a tech lab on this first barracks right here. So Duran doing a decent job at reacting to this. Had this hero scout, was able to check out what's going on in this game, throwing down the factory as well. I was going to suggest that. And the one thing you guys need to know about StarCraft is if you know what's happening in the game, if you get a scout and you see something this significant, you're going to be possibly in a very good position, because Tzinch was hoping this was not going to get scouted. He is doing a one base all in. He wanted to rush his opponent out of this game. Duran not risking a single building, pulling 3 SCVs onto that supply depot. Really, against 2 Zerglings, all you need is 1 SCV, but the Marauder coming out of this barracks, chasing those Zerglings away, saying, look, you guys don't need to worry about this. I got the ramp. Go back to work, make us some money so we can win this game. And it's what I foreshadowed. It's what I predicted. It is going to be a Ravager one base all in coming out of our red Zerg player. And the corrosive vials, they do significant amounts of damage. We have what is going to be Widow Mines coming out of this factory. I thought it was going to be tanks, but it is in fact Widow Mines, and Roaches a little bit squishy. As we can see, that was only 1 Marauder and 2 Marines able to snipe 1 Ravager. So 3 Ravagers cost a lot more money than 1 Marauder and 2 Marines, I'll tell you that much. And this Widow Mine, I would move it slightly closer to the ramp, just so it has a little bit more range on this ramp for possible run-bys of Zerglings or rushes of Roaches. The corrosive vials, this Terran base is under siege. The corrosive vials will actually, I think, be able to take out the supply depot. If Duran does not manage to repair it in time, 1 Widow Mine goes down, 1 Marine goes down. We see what is going to be 5 Ravagers. Duran trying to re-up this wall, but I guess deciding against it now. The door is wide open. If Tzinch decides to do it, will be able to run up the ramp, and great spot by him as well. Able to corrosive vial that Widow Mine, even if the unit is cloaked. Corrosive vials are a procced ability. So even if you can't see a unit, if you get the corrosive vial on top of that unit, it will still do damage. It's a lot like a storm in that sense. Now we see what is going to be a push into the main base for the Terran player. I wanted to say Tzinch was slightly overextending with this army. Every single unit matters in a one base all-in because your economy is going to be so weak in the late game. You want to make sure that you can get as much damage done as possible and keep as many units alive as possible, but I was going to actually suggest this as well. We had a lot of softened up Ravagers. These SCVs could do quite a lot of damage, and as we can see, most of the Ravagers, actually all of the Ravagers go down. This Hero Banshee able to take out 2 of them. Great game sense by Duran, great choice. Man, Duran, you gotta repair this barracks. It is going to die. It is going to burn down. Finally throwing down some repairs on this barracks. We see what is going to be 2 more Ravagers, though, and a Corrosive Vial on top of that SCV. That poor SCV was trying so hard, and now Tzinch still going through with the 1 base all in. This basically has to win him the game at this point. If this gets to the late game, oh no, oh my god, the barracks actually does burn down. But what I was saying is, if Tzinch allows this game to enter the late phase at this point, it's not likely he's going to be in. We see what is going to be a halfway done command center, but there's no SCV on it. But Tzinch, this is exactly what I was talking about. He has to make sure this wins him the game. He's going to try and do as much damage to the Terran economy as possible, but Duran, with this Hero Banshee, has 4 kills already at this point. Ravagers, they do not shoot up. The Corrosive Vial shoots up, their ability shoots up, but the base attack for the Ravager does not shoot up. So, at this point in the game, Banshees are a very good choice, especially with that game sense that I was talking about, but interrupted myself. Duran, with the good game sense, realizing that Zerg is probably still on 1 base and probably does not have anything that shoots up based on the amount he committed into these Ravagers. We do see some Spore Crawlers in response to that Banshee, which is great. But this is 2 Banshees, and Zerg is still on 1 base. We do have what is going to be the hatchery. So, Tzinch is going to try and get himself into the late game. Taking a look at the workers killed, he did kill 17 workers, and the worker supply is in his favor by 5. So, 17 worker supply to 2. So, it's possible Tzinch did do enough damage to get himself in the late game. He's technically ahead in workers, but he doesn't have anything that shoots up outside of these Spore Crawlers. The Spore Crawlers in decent positioning around the mineral line, though. Duran forcing the cancel on the attempt at the expansion from our red Zerg player, and Tzinch now trying to throw down a macro hatchery. Will also force the cancel on it, though. We do have the Queen. Will probably be able to chase away these Banshees with the support of that Spore Crawler. So Tzinch still going for the 1 base all-in, going for the macro hatchery. Very Brood War. But it's getting to the point in this game, I think Duran is actually going to be ahead. He is throwing down an orbital command in the natural base, followed by a bunker, which I don't blame him for. He's still preparing for what is going to be a push from the Zerg side of the map. These overlords were actually migrating all the way from the front. I don't think you guys noticed that, but or I don't think I pointed it out, but these overlords on the Great Migration back home, they were standing somewhere in the middle of the map, or floating, standing. Overlords don't stand. They float. I mean, look at those legs. They're totally atrophied. They're useless. But Tzinch, he's going for this 1 base all-in, and we see what is going to be a Spire. I expect he's going to try and harass Duran out of this game. He went for the harassment in the mineral lines. Not even the harassment, but an all-in into the mineral line with those Ravagers, and now going for what I expect are mutas. Corruptors would be kind of useless at this point in the game, and he's still on 1 base right here, but Duran will be able to spot the Spire. Flies away immediately. It was at the cost of 1 Banshee, but Duran doing a great job scouting this game, able to spot everything that's going on, and this is literally everything that Zerg has. This is everything Tzinch is in this game. This is all he has. He is a humble man, but at the same time, this is literally everything. So this is all Duran needs to scout. He scouts once and he sees literally everything that the Zerg is doing. Does spot that Spire, will have 2 missile turrets in both mineral lines, so he is well and prepared. I would possibly make some Vikings, but seeing that Zerg is still on 1 base and the fact that I am in 2 bases in this scenario, if I were Duran, I'd feel pretty good, especially with these missile turrets. All he has to do to keep this mineral line safe is pile up a bunch of SCVs onto that missile turret and repair them. We see what is going to be a big push of Hellions, though. They managed to fly, or not fly, but drive deep into the mineral line. Taking a look at the workers killed right here, 11 workers killed. These Banshees actually posted up in a really strategic spot. Duran is locking Zerg on one base right now, finally flying home, but able to take out 12 workers total. So that's evening the workers killed by just a little bit. It's still in favor of our Zerg player technically, but taking a look at the worker supply, it is now in favor for Duran. It's 27 workers to 15, and that is a consequence of being able to expand while you are stuck on one base. If I was Tzinch, man, I would have tried to expand at least 2 more times. I know it's scary, and now Duran does have a little bit of sight, but this Hellion is slightly out of position. So Tzinch, if he wanted to, could expand, but I think he's still committing to this one base. We do not see one base Zergs for entire games very often. I can't believe we're looking at the 11-minute mark and Zerg is still on one base, especially in Diamond League, but he's going for what is going to be the mutas. Taking a look at the upgrades right here, 1 infantry upgrade, weapons for our Terran player, and speedling upgrades, and that's it. There's no other upgrades in this game right now. And Tzinch, I wonder if he's going for a Hail Mary move. I wonder if he's going for the Haymaker, going for what is going to be a Mutalisk push followed by a handful of Zerglings. But man, we have what is going to be a bunker. We have what is 4 Widow Mines, but they're not burrowed. I think Duran is paying attention to other stuff right now. He just has these Widow Mines rallied. And we have what is going to be a... I don't even want to say a big push, but a push coming out of Tzinch right here. Surrounding the bunker. This is not the move I would have done. I would have run into a mineral line. Oh, and the Mutalisks getting shredded by these Widow Mines. Great positioning on the Widow Mines on the outskirts of the mineral lines for both bases for the Terran player. Tzinch realizing his position, seeing that Terran is on 2 bases, soon to be 3 bases, and realizing there's no way he can stay in this game. He's already almost mined out of his main base and has nothing left after that, and lost most of his mutas in that engagement. So, wild game, great game sense by Duran. If he did not scout both those times, if he did not scout the cheese and the spire, I think this game would have gone slightly differently. The spire was not as important to scout as the cheese, though. So, very good play by Duran. Diamond versus Diamond level TvZ. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.